This is kale, and it has a lot of vitamins, and it's a very sturdy looking plant. And the first thing you want to do when you get it home is wash it really well, because it can be very, very dirty. And then you want to take off these tough stems. You can actually use these later on if you want to make like a vegetable stock, but I don't like them in this particular soup. Now what you have to do is start by flavoring some vegetables. So we want to start with some pancetta. You've heard me talk about pancetta before. Here it is when you buy it in a deli or a grocery store. This is Italian bacon. And make sure that the fat that's around it is nice and white looking. That's a telltale sign that it's fresh. So we're going to add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to our soup pot. About 2 tablespoons, I would say. And the pancetta. So in that goes. I want to get this wilted down somewhat over medium heat. So let's get that up a little bit. So here we have some carrots, and we just want to chop those up. So I hear a little sizzle going on here. We're going to lower that down now. And we're going to add our onions. They can go in. So onions go in. 1 onion, chopped, not too fine, goes in. And also with this, we want some fennel. So here we have our carrots. I'm going to set that aside for a minute and talk to you about this, finocchio, as they say in Italian. All right, so now we can put carrots, fennel, right in our soup pot. All of this goes in. And then we want some potatoes. And here we have just a couple of potatoes that we diced up. So we're going to throw those in. Potatoes go in. There really is no rhyme or reason to making a soup. Whatever you happen to have in the kitchen would be great. And then we want some tomatoes. Here we have just plum tomatoes that we've diced up. Sometimes I like to use just whole cherry tomatoes in this and put the cherry tomatoes in whole without cutting them. But here today we have some diced plum tomatoes. So they're going in. And now I think you can start to see that we're building a pretty hearty soup here. So that's in. Then we want to give this some spices. So we have, again, flat leaf Italian parsley. About 2-3 tablespoons will be fine. And I like to give this just a little bit of heat. So some hot red pepper, some cayenne pepper go in, hot red pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of each. And my favorite spice to use in soup, celery seed. I think that really picks up the flavor of any soup. So that's in. And we're going to stir that around now. And give this some salt, a little bit of salt. And in a soup, whenever you make a soup like this, you want to taste as you go along so you can correct the seasoning. Then the next thing we need is some lemon juice. And if you have a lemon reamer, it doesn't take very long to get fresh lemon juice. And then we want some broth, of course. So again, you can use chicken stock, you could use beef stock, you could use water. So you want enough stock to cover the vegetables. So about 4 cups. And if you don't have enough stock to cover the vegetables, well, then you could add water. Now we have our kale. So that's going to go in. All of the kale, and believe me, that's going to cook down. Not going to cover this completely because there's a lot of water in the kale. I just want to give it enough water to get going here. And I'll add more if I need it. So you press down on that, and you put the cover on. And now you're patient. You don't do anything for about 20 minutes, because there are 2 other things that need to go into this soup. One of them is the croutons. And how do you make croutons for this soup? Well, again, you start out with those Parmesan cheese rinds. get them at room temperature, and then you get out a knife and you cut them up into small pieces, just like that. And you'll have them to put in the soup when it's ready to serve. So there are your little soup croutons. And then at the very end, we're going to add something that is very Tuscan, and that is cannellini beans. You see, these are cannellini beans. You don't put these in until the very end, just before the soup is ready. So that is our Tuscan soup.